Hey everyone, today I have the honor of sitting down with my uncle, Kajukenbo Grandmaster Benjamin Calvo. He has spent decades of his life training martial arts, winning hundreds of thousands of competitions, trophies, medals, plaques, belts, and even training other martial artists, producing quite a few black belts in his time. So without further ado, please welcome Grandmaster Benjamin Calvo.
Good afternoon, Greg. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good to hear, sir. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's start by having Grandmaster Benjamin Calvo introduce himself.
Good afternoon. My name is Benjamin Calvo. I'm 82 years old. I started martial arts in 1964 at Sam Houston State Teachers College in Huntsville, Texas. At that time, there were very few instructors in the city of Austin. There were only like 4 black belts and hardly no judo, jiu-jitsu, or anything else in the city of Austin. Boxing was at the Pan Am Center in the city of Austin. But I lived in a rural area called Montopolis, which is east of Austin, close to Bergstrom Air Force Base. And my nephew here is going to ask me questions. I'll answer them to the best of my knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I?
Yes.
Question 1. How were you first introduced to martial arts?
Well, I became interested in martial arts because I always wanted to learn boxing, judo. When I was growing up as a child in Montopolis, it was kind of a poverty-stricken area. Hardly no sports except maybe for baseball. No organized baseball or football or anything like that. No swimming pool. And I first saw martial arts on the show back in the 1950s called Route 66. There was a guy that was getting out of the car. He was getting in a fight. And then he started moving his arms around. I said, man, that looks pretty good. And that was Kempo. I became amazed at the way he defended himself. And ever since then, I was interested in learning martial arts. So when I went to Sam Houston State in 1964, there was an instructor that came from Korea. He was a GI. They had been in the military, been in the army. And he started teaching the classes there at Sam Houston State. And he started having a class for all the students, and then became a club. And that's how I started martial arts in 1964.
Thank you. Question 2. How has martial arts changed your life?
Well, martial arts has changed my life because I have always been physically fit. I always work out, do a lot of stretching. I do weights to keep my muscles tight. And I guess martial arts has changed my life not only physically, but also mentally, has made me mentally strong by certain problems that we have, things that you come up during your life that you have to tackle. And it has made me mentally strong. And also, I would say that it has given me more confidence wherever you go, restaurants, theaters, wherever. You're not afraid. You can physically defend yourself if you have to. And those are some of the ways I would say that martial arts have changed my life.
Yes, sir. Question 3. Have you ever wanted to quit martial arts? If so, what kept you going?
Yes, I have wanted to quit martial arts because when you have a family, you have to work, you can't compete. It's hard for you to have your finances for competition, and you have other obligations. You can quit martial arts. You can stop martial arts. You say you can stop doing anything else. Just like some people want to become football players and they can't because of obligations. Basketball players or any other sport. It requires a lot of dedication, a lot of time, a lot of training. So I would say you can slow down, but you don't have to quit. And you can always come back even stronger after you're out for a while. So always keep your foot in the fire. Always go forward. Always set goals. If you set goals for yourself, you will accomplish those goals. And after you accomplish a goal, set another goal and keep going. I was 62 years old and I came back and I decided to compete in tournaments. And I competed up until I was 70. I couldn't do fighting anymore because I had 5 stents in my heart, but I could do forums. And I competed in forums. And I won several championships. I would say coming back to the martial arts after being out for a while because of physical injuries or whatever, always come back and come back stronger. Set goals for yourself, but never quit. Never quit. Always go forward until you reach the top.
Question 4. What accomplishment are you most proud of?
Coming from a poverty-stricken area, as far as I know, I'm the only Grandmaster who has ever come out of that area and run topless. And I would say that's one of my things that I'm very proud of. Coming from parents that were poor, my father was a shoe repairman and he didn't have much money. My mother stayed at home. And one time my father had tuberculosis and he couldn't work. So my mother had to pick up the slack. And we would go pick cotton in West Texas. Myself and my 3 sisters and my mother and my father stayed home because of the tuberculosis. So we didn't have any money. We didn't have much money. But I'd say one of the things that I'm very proud of is that I made senior grandmaster in the martial arts. Something that I never expected to do when I started martial arts back in 1964.
Question 5. How has martial arts changed since you started?
Martial arts has changed since I've started back in 1964. There are a lot more instructors, more commercial schools. A lot of times you have to sign a contract because the teachers have to pay for the building. There are a lot of different organizations. When I first started martial arts, it were very few schools. However, that training was tough. It was very tough. Nowadays, you can't train a student that way because you'll get lawsuits. But when I started martial arts, you had to do fist push-ups, you have to do fingertip push-ups, and all kinds of physical tests. If an instructor said, we don't have a good lesson, we don't have good training unless there's blood on the floor before we leave. So that was the old school. Now you can't say that, you can't do that. Also, when I started, we didn't have any equipment. You just taped your hands like a boxer and you went at it. We didn't even have mouthpieces. They told you to put your lips together so your teeth won't get broken. But they did get broken. You get kicked in the mouth, you got a broken tooth, got kicked in the throat, fractured arm, fractured fingers, separated right shoulder, fractured ribs. But that's the way it was in the old times. In the old times, we trained just like a street fighter, and we train hard. Nowadays, you have to be careful the way you train your students. But that's a big difference from yesterday and today in the practice of martial arts.
Wow. Question 6. Have you ever been in a real fight where martial arts has helped you?
Yes, I've been in a few fights where self-defense and martial arts has helped me. In Vietnam, I was attacked by one of the other men. We were what they call orderlies, staying awake all night, taking care of the radios in the barracks. And the guy came at me and attacked me, and all it took was one technique. And it was over, was one technique. The guy was like 6'3", red-headed, had a real big head on him. And all I did was one technique, and the guy was down. And other times, I've been attacked, but it didn't last long. 2 or 3 techniques, that's all it takes when you're a good martial artist.
I think we all want to know what that one technique was.
Front snap kick. That's all it takes.
Classic.
Wow. Then you grab by the hair.
Final question. When people remember Grandmaster Benjamin Calvo, years from now, what do you want them to remember?
I want people to remember that I won the first trophy for Kajukenbo in 1972. Out of all the Kajukenbo people in the state of Texas, I won the first tournament trophy in Houston, Texas in the Karate Olympics. I lost to the Texas champion by 1/10 of a point in form. There were 30 brown belts altogether, and I was a brown belt in 1972. And I won the first trophy for Kajukenbo. Also, I want them to remember that I was a pretty nice guy, easy to get along with, and that I help other martial artists along the way. I want them to say that I was an influence in their life. And that's the reason they train hard in martial arts, because of the influence from speaking to me or seeing me or whatever it was. But that's the way I want to be remembered, as a Kajukenbo Senior Grandmaster, one of the first martial artists in the city of Austin.